my goodness, what is up? Good morning, peeps. Hope we're all doing well around the world, wherever you guys are from. This past weekend, we saw Blast London, and I was not expecting much. I'll be honest with all of you guys, going into this Blast Open, only 6 teams actually making the final LAN. We went through and covered all the closed and open qualifiers. I wasn't expecting much. In fact, I don't really like these kind of smaller LAN events. Maybe that's just me, but I'll take it all back because I was shocked by our grand finals and what was one of my favorite series we have seen so far this year. And that might be for a variety of reasons, but let's crack into G2 versus Vitality. The winner trying to take, of course, your Blast Open London title. And what did you guys expect going into this series? I think a lot of people hoping that Vitality would show their dominance again. And I say hoping they would return to what we saw earlier this year. And of course, plenty of people, maybe myself included, hoping for a G2 upset and finalizing a run that started off looking insane. They have taken down a lot of great teams to even get to this point. The likes of Spirit, the likes of FaZe, the likes of Furia, they only fall to Malbs in this run, and so people were hyped to see that they cracked on Dust 2, and despite a ZywOo ace, G2 dominate the opening map of the series, which feels like the way you gotta beat Vitality. You gotta punch them in the mouth early, try and hope that they don't come back on you, but Vitality, they do that. They always come back.
He can play outside the site, inside the site, or pushing.
Tries to come back in with the wild spray down, offer exposed on the cross. You're gonna know Mezzi's sitting at the top of mid, and he also goes down with nothing. Every single individual of this G2 squad refuses to falter at the hands of Vitality. Finally, something comes through in round 11. ZywOo's double kill out through the tip of that windowsill. And with damage done onto Mattis, it's better late than never for ZywOo to step forward as the hero Vitality need. And they needed one 5 rounds ago. Apex gets burned into it, and ZywOo, it's all or nothing. Here or never. And as he eats that flash, they'll come barreling towards his sight. Backs turned, and that is 4 frags deep for ZywOo. Oh, it's the ace!
As then Vitality bounced back on Mirage, another ZywOo ace, which was kind of weird. He had a really back and forth series. A lot of great moments, including this map to Mirage. He was utterly dominant, going eventually 30-6 with that ace, with a magical one-tap, and Vitality snapped right back.
Wow, the counterplay is insane.
Does fluster Hunter, though, off his perch. Couple flashbangs over, he's blind, but Sunpius covers. ZywOo catching him as he drops down. Apex take flow. Great execution coming forward from Sunpius. ZywOo is going to be the difference, though. If he has to be, time to deliver. He still has 80 health.
And every kill so far.
Already sitting on an ace in this series. Quad kill ZywOo.
ZywOo qui vient prendre l'espace dessus sur la table. Wow! Wow! Il lui a mis un uppercut! Oh là 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 là!
And yeah, I said that correct. 30-6 from ZywOo, and it's at that point where I see those stat lines and a strong start in map 3 where I'm like, okay, the series is over. G2, they gave their punch in the mouth, and now the real Vitality is going to kick it into gear because they're finally going to wake up. And for a short while, that was correct. Vitality take overpass. And on the CT side, when you watch ZywOo and you watch Rops, it was insane. A very lopsided overpass once they went to their CT side. And it was 2-1 Vitality. And I was thinking that this series was over for sure. And then we got the freaking Inferno magic.
Reminder from Hunter to play like scrims. Remember the practice.
ZywOo's got 3 players in front of him. Makes quick work of the first 2. Rops is perfectly positioned to help out.
Dude, I was looking at that angle and I was like, how well will this work out? You know, why not just fully tuck? And he sees the shadow of the flashbang. It's so perfect.
ZywOo tapping right back into what he showed us on Mirage, which is one-man domination.
And that's because Inferno was absolute cinema. I know so many people are back and forth on this match, but G2 started 1-6 down. And for the 3rd time, I'll say it, I thought this series was over. I was bouncing and I was like, there's no way, right? Vitality's going to put the nail in the coffin here. But it was G2 who slowly clawed back. Thanks to the likes of Mattis, which we'll touch back on him in the future. I think it was like a 3 or 4K out of nowhere, which brought them 6-1 to 6-4 and really started to turn the tides on this map until later on we get into later rounds in the second half where it was Apex with a 1v2 to get Vitality to 11, where again, I thought it was over because I'm stupid.
Back, Mattis responds, and Mattis Glare needs to find a clutch. He gets a reposition off as the CTs just sulk into their corners, giving away the position with that nade. He's ready for Mattis. They think it's Pit. Oh God, they think it's Pit. A back turn for Apex. Leads the charge. Timeout needed. Answer found. 11 rounds all.
And then G2 lose another to get Vitality to round 12. And it felt like, okay, we need maybe a bit of a miracle. And that miracle came in a force buy to take us to overtime. This is where the series started to get real beautiful.
Comes through.
Every single nade you could ask for. We do get G2 close. We will find them with a back turn. Here comes Sunpius. They lose track of him, and there's still a player in the back of the site in Malbs. He has so little health. They're gonna try to run him down. They'll clear this site. Zywoo with 3 kills to his name. Hunter on the attack. 12 down for Zywoo. They will fight tooth and nail.
Because then after that, they sweep the overtime on their half, and it's not just Malbs opting to get a 3K, then it's a Mattis 3K, and then it seemed like Vitality was pretty upset, and it became a very, very fast map, which again came down to the wire, but ultimately was not enough for Vitality as G2 come back with that force to force overtime, and they take Inferno, and we're going to a map 5. All of a sudden, all the momentum is on G2's side heading into map 5 train.
Uses this weapon. They're not going to respect the smoke. Malbs, can you hit it?
Oh, the first one, yes. Mezzy dead. Second's his. Malbs from the back of the site, coupled off the puncher. They don't need anything more.
Is this Malbs 2K? What's going on?
Destruction on the front of this B site. It is back-to-back, full-blown execute. Full house from Malbs and Hunter. The Quantum's meant to be the best, which means you have to do something fantastic, and he will do nothing instead. G2 down 6-1 at the start of this deciding map. They would have had heads in their hands. A taste of grand finals, a rare treat. Not for Vitality. They know what these acts of desperation need to look like. This
Malbs is coming in.
Apex trying to go unnoticed. He's the last one to fall.
And here is where HeavyGOAT became HeavyGOAT. I have not seen an individual performance like this in quite some time. In the matter of clutches he had in so few rounds, that is 4 clutches in the first 11 rounds. And to start this game, a dualies ace. And that is, I feel like, I said it before, the punch in the mouth they need to try and pick up some rounds in these maps and not allow Vitality back into it. It was insane the way HeavyGOAT started this map.
It cost him at EWC.
HeavyGOAT lets it rip. Beretta's into the pack.
Oh, that's heavy impact.
Unbelievable. 4 kills up close, point blank. Beretta's rip.
Send him out for the kill, man.
Let him off the leash.
Let's go.
Yes! Exactly.
And then he had a 1v2 in round 5, which was incredibly clutch. I think it was round 6, the following round. It ended up being a 1v1, him and Flamesy, where Flamesy decided not to plant. I thought he had time, and so kind of a clutch moment out of HeavyGOAT. And then again, in round 11, all of a sudden, it's an 8-4 half for G2. And it feels like they have everything they needed, and they kept that momentum going. And Vitality, they pulled back a little bit, as you expect. You know, even when it eventually was 12 to 6, people were still like, oh no, Vitality comeback. But no, not this time. G2 get it frickin' done.
Bodies try to encroach. That's the bomb. He stopped the bomb, and then they get that rebuttal back, but nobody's picked up the bomb.
It's time to plant, but HeavyGOAT.
Oh, it's right there in safety. HeavyGOAT still has a chance at this clutch.
It's the long con.
Rob's tagged down to 72. That's both bodies spotted, and HeavyGOAT trying to find his way into this. Either way, left and right. And as he crawls in, HeavyGOAT, a god amongst men. Vitality, no match.
But they have to start actually running now.
10 on the clock, and Hunter's starting to exit out T-Con. I mean, they boil this one down to the final seconds.
They gotta kill.
Sunpius gets his over towards B. Now suddenly Vitality, no, they've made a mistake. They've let this post plant go down. But with the bomb plant becomes a necessary hold. Hunter and Malbs within this bomb site versus three of 2025's very best.
The old bones of this new lineup.
Hunter waits for the present. Oh, it's an instant headshot. The Kovac blood runs deep. The talent knows no bounds. But with Flamesy from the bottom of the board and a smoke on the bomb, he's gonna just try to stick this. You are denied. And G2 do what no one else could. Not Mouse, not Falcons.
And I don't even know where to begin with all of this as G2 take down Vitality, the first team to take down Vitality in a best of 5, map 5 grand finals, and our first really close, I would say, series of Counter-Strike we have seen in quite some time. We talked about the back-to-back-to-back last few titles we have covered, all being like 3-0s or 3-1s. I think the last 3 have been 3-0s, right? Or something along those lines of not very close. This series was incredible because it felt like a lot of people were obviously cheering for G2, the return of G2, but there are so many storylines to pull on here that I'm so happy about. Vitality, they fail yet again in the grand finals, but they're right there, and people would say that's disappointing and worrying and concerning for Vitality, but they're still a team that is making it consistently to grand finals, so I'm going to leave it at that. They're still one of the best teams in the world. They just got to figure their crap out. But on the G2 side, for someone like Hunter to solidify a name for himself, doing it with this new project who is time and time again just swapping out talent. And now you have Sun, Pius, and Saw who have gotten theirs early on in G2, a new project built by Pekka. Pekka giving a lot of backlash or getting a lot of backlash, but also getting tons of praise for, hey, I can make Counter-Strike lineups. And I saved the best for last when it comes to a guy like HeavyGOAT, all of his clutches, all of his great moments there, really showing up in that last map and turning that last map in their favor. And it feels like G2 has all of these pieces that can pick up their own when they need to. And then Malbs, I could not be happier for the kid. You know, he comes to G2, then they lose Munacy, they lose NiKo, just 2 key pieces. And he's like, okay, what do I do now? They constantly are rotating in, some stand-ins here, some new players here and there, and now finally a chance to stick it out with this team. They get a title, which in the grand scheme of things for this season is not that important of a monumental title prize-wise or team-wise or pool-wise, but it's so important, I feel like, for G2 to get this title underneath their belt, to know they can do it going forward. And most importantly, the run they did, Spirit, Furia, FaZe, taking down Vitality in a best of 5, this is no joke. It might not be the most important tournament of the circuit, but it's such an important win in the way they did it and the run they had while doing it. This is going to mean the world to G2. They are officially back for Counter-Strike. Did I just yap enough for all of you guys? I'm happy for Malbs. The G2 pressure has finally subsided. He's done it. They're back. And if you guys can't tell, yes, this caffeine is hitting me just in the right spots. I'm happy to have competitive Counter-Strike because I was watching this event, and like I told you, with the beginning of this all being online, I just didn't have high expectations for entertaining CS, and I was proven completely wrong. It was so fun to watch, and it's so fun to see G2 back and all of these guys getting their credit. And Vitality are still very competitive. And M80, a team for NA, they actually make the LAN, and they take a map off Mouse, right? And it was exciting, It's really fun times to be watching Counter-Strike as we slowly get closer to the major. So till next time, take care. Thank you all for being here. We are slowly approaching 80,000 subs, okay? If you guys have had caffeine, coffee, drinks, water, anything today, liquid-wise, subscribe to the channel now, and I'll see you back here sometime soon with more CS news. Take care, y'all.